Hello friends, welcome and thank you for joining me for my first vlog video. This is Thank You Places, where we talk about all sorts of things: theater, circus, Shakespeare, musicals, whatever, you name it. We talk about it here on my first vlog episode. My name is Miss Emily. I am a professional actor in the Austin area, and I am currently on an incredible career journey, and I just wanted to take a moment to talk and say hello to you folks. Okay, so our first video, our first episode today is about a show that I saw called Paranormal Cirque. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is a sexy, rated R paranormal circus where we are led to believe that there is a lot of adult content as well as circus acrobatics. They advertise a cabaret with theatrical acts and, of course, circus acts. So I want to make clear that in this video, I wouldn't say that I'm providing a review. I'm just making observations. As an actor myself, some of my observations might be considered a little nitpicky, but whatever, this is my channel, this is what you get. Yes, produced by Cirque Italia. It's a brand new show. It's doing its first tour. And the photos and everything online look really fantastic. I saw advertisements for this show on Facebook with videos and photos of all this really cool, sexy girls with horns and men on sur wheels, which are those big hoops that people roll around on, and people on liras and trapezes and all this stuff. And then it's all in the environment of the spookies. Excuse me. Getting the tickets. Very easy. Found out about this show online through Facebook. Lots of ads. The show is in Round Rock, which is not too far from where I live. And I just decided to click the button because I love circus shows. Hands down, the best perk of this entire experience was that these tickets were dirt cheap. $50 for a VIP experience, front row, closest to the stage in the center section. Hands down makes this show worth seeing. Even if, you know, what you end up seeing isn't your cup of tea, it's worth the experience. We had a good time. So the tickets were dirt cheap. Also, there are a ton of online coupons. Just put in Paranormal Cirque coupon codes. I think I got 10% off my entire order. The tickets were already dirt cheap, so 10% off was a big plus. The seats filled up late. I remember when I checked a week before the show, there were hardly any people who had bought tickets to the show, which I, kind of thought was a red flag. But I couldn't resist, so I bought tickets anyway. I'm glad we did, because when we got to the tent, there were tons of people waiting in line to get tickets, so my suggestion would be to buy online. Those tickets will get sold. Our show was sold out. I would suggest to buy tickets closest to the center. If you do not buy tickets closer to the center, you're less likely to get any audience interaction from the characters, because there's only one entrance or exit onto the stage, and it's dead center. Fortunately for us, Zach and I were on the left side of that entrance, and we got lots of audience participation. People who were in the front row on the far left and far right side didn't get a whole lot of attention because the characters had to literally travel through the center and go to the sides and then go all the way back if they needed to get back on stage. Try to get close to the center if you're interested in audience participation, because that's a huge component in this production, in this show. Okay, so when you first arrive at the show, you're on the highway and you see this giant black tent, big black tent with massive towers. There's one big tent in the center, it's the tallest, and then there was a couple other ones. I think there was like two other ones. Looked amazing, completely black, and had these giant metal arches with red lights and skeletons hanging down from the arch, and it said Paranormal Cirque in giant red letters. Come on, who can resist that? Nobody. I fell in love. I got pumped. So we get into the space, we get closer to it. The tents look awesome. There are some antique cars that are decorated with spooky things like skulls and hands and all these sorts of things that are really scary, which was fun. It did remind me a little bit of like a local haunted house. There was a lot of fog being used, but it was still really cool looking and got us in the mood to get scared. So as soon as we walked into the first tent, there was a face painting station, there was some souvenir shops, and there was a concession stand. All around this, all this going on, it was kind of the lobby, I guess, of the area. There were characters walking around with props, scaring people. There was a guy walking around with a chainsaw, a girl walking around with an axe, things like that, and they were all really spooked up. I will say, honestly, that these costumes and their makeup jobs were a bit Party City. Now, I took that with a grain of salt because they are the pre-show performers, and maybe those are just quick put on, take off so that they can get ready for the show later on. I don't know. But either way, we were having a great time. It was just something that I noticed. There was a projector showing black and white scary movies while people were getting their faces painted, and then there was a souvenir shop with very, very reasonably priced souvenirs. I got a pair of cheeky underwear that say "Bite Me" on them, and they were really cheap, so that was a plus also. And they had all sorts of stuff to choose from, and even the employees at the souvenir shop and at the concession stand were bloodied up, which I also thought was really cool. So the first thing we did was go to the concession stand, and lo and behold, they didn't have booze! No booze at a rated R circus show? Are you kidding me? I mean, come on, you're missing out on so much money by not having booze. So I know that liquor licenses are a thing, but come on, Cirque Italia, figure it out. You need to get booze in the hands of these people. Anyway, so we ended up getting snacks. We had to wait in line for a long time to get to our seats because it seemed like there was a language barrier in between the ushers who were individually showing people to their seats and us. Granted, these people are from Italy and not a lot of them speak English very well. I was confused as to why we had to be ushered until we had to be ushered, and I realized the seating arrangement and the way it was organized was different than what most people in the United States are used to. There was a lot of people getting up and moving because they were sitting in the wrong place. But we made it to our seats. We sat front and center, right up on the stage, which was awesome. It was this really, really intimate space, surprisingly enough. Great, let's get into the show. The first thing that I want to say before I move forward is I just want to thank Cirque Italia for celebrating diversity within their cast. It was such a pleasure and a joy to see so many people of different shapes and sizes and colors and all these different people who must have incredible backgrounds in a show like this. Being scared and the thrill of being scared is something that everybody enjoys every once in a while. So thank you, Cirque Italia, for sharing the talent of so many different people, all shapes and sizes and colors and cultures and ages. Thank you so much for doing that. Go you. Keep it up. That's the way theater should be done. Great. Sorry, I'm very passionate about diversity in theater, if you can't tell. The other thing that I'd like to highlight, I'm not going to dive too much into the show because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who is considering seeing it because they're still on tour. I freaking loved the pre-show. I am a big fan of audience participation. I'm a big fan of getting the audience revved up and ready for the show. If you've ever seen a Cirque du Soleil show, then you know what kind of audience participation I'm talking about. A lot of times they'll pick out audience members and put them on stage and tease them a little bit and, you know, make them do something mildly embarrassing and then put them on stage, and it's a great laugh for everyone. The first 30 minutes of this show is heavily reliant on audience participation. So if you're sitting close to the stage or you're planning on getting seats that are close to the stage, get ready to get fucked with. A lot of rated R jokes, just sexual content, sexual. That's a lot of the content that they were making jokes about. So yes, this show is available to 16-year-olds who have an adult with them, but I certainly, just a side note, would not want to bring my 16-year-old daughter, if I had one, or my 16-year-old sister to this show because there's just a lot of stuff that you don't want to have to explain later if they have any questions. Definitely a show for friends or for a significant other, I would say. Not for family. Once the pre-show ended, the lights go down and they illuminate this proscenium arch upstage. And it is an arch that is made to look like a castle, like a haunted castle. I will say that this castle is made of plywood and it's just flat wood that is painted to look like a castle. Again, it reminded me a lot of a local haunted house because it wasn't 3D. It wasn't an actual, it wasn't a set building piece that you expect to see in high quality theater. But it did provide the correct vibe. It just wasn't super high quality. So that's the first thing that I noticed. But the first act was awesome. They have gymnasts who swing through high bars, but they're dressed as zombies. We saw some fire spinning. We also saw some plate spinning. So there is a hefty variety of entertainment in this show, which I really enjoyed also. There's a lot of sex appeal. There's a lot of dark humor. There's a lot of just straight stupid humor. And then there was also a bit of a spook factor. Now, there's just a couple of things that I want to point out that were a little disappointing. Like I said, the set quality was less than impressive. Also, I did some research before I bought these tickets, and the public relations and media representative for Cirque Italia in an email interview said, guests will witness a terrifying wheel of death routine displaying feats of strength and balance on a swinging pendulum of doom. Audience members will also witness aerialists glide around the tent on long silks and contort in the air on hoops and straps. Now, we did get a wheel of doom. We did get the pendulum of doom, which is always entertaining. However, we did not get a silks act. In the first act, towards the end, there was a gentleman who was walking towards center stage. He seemed like a performer, and the silks were hanging center. He grabbed onto the silks, and it looked like he was just about to get started. He turns his head upstage right, the lights go out, and there's no silks act. We did not get in the air hoops. Another word for in the air hoops is a lyra. We didn't get any lyra action in this show, which was also a little disappointing. We did get some magic acts in this show, a lot of old-fashioned magic tricks. In one of the main magic acts that they did in this show, one of the set pieces was broken and wasn't moving, and it totally ruined the illusion. So again, going back to the production quality, some things just need to be fixed and need to be anteed up if they're going to continue with this old-fashioned magic, because that was a little cringy for me. Oh. Seriously? Come here. Come here, I said. This little shit. I read another review where Sarah Kessler talks about a Sir wheel. We didn't get any Sir wheel action, so there was a lot of things in advertisements and like promotional stuff that we didn't see in our show. That being said, it was still incredibly entertaining. The death wheel is there, there's plate spinning, I think there's supposed to be silks, and then a couple of other things that I won't mention. Final thoughts. Very saddened that there wasn't any booze, but super happy that all the souvenirs were super cheap. I did feel like some of the promotional material was false advertising, but the show itself was still really, really entertaining and worth the price. Something I haven't mentioned yet is that we bought VIP tickets, but we didn't really get a VIP experience. In intermission, some of the characters offered to take photos with people on stage, but when we got to the front of the line, we were told that we had to pay for them. At the end of the show, some of the coolest acrobats and characters came out, and we were able to take free pictures with them, which was really cool. I was really, really pleased to get a chance to shake the hand of some of these acrobats and to tell them they did a great job and it was a great show. And then I got a picture with one of them, which I will post right here. Oh yeah, he looks good. My overall experience was awesome. I had a great time. Zach had a great time. It was a little hokey at times, but certainly worth the $50 ticket price. I think the tickets were $25. Those were the cheapest ones. But certainly go get a chance to see it. There's a chance that we didn't get some of those other acts because maybe an actor was injured, or maybe there was something technically wrong. And I certainly would not expect any of these performers to put themselves in harm's way for a show. I'm just sad that we missed out on a couple of things that were heavily advertised. Would definitely go see it again if it came back next year. I would be very interested in seeing how they improve or what they change in the show. But forget what I have to say. You should go and buy tickets. I will post the link in the description below so that you can go check out where the show is going and if it's coming someplace near you. So that's the end of my first video. I hope you enjoyed it. Excuse me. If you have seen Paranormal Cirque and you want to share with me how you felt about it, please post it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your point of view. If you saw the show and you saw different acts than I did, or if you missed out on certain things, or if you got a Sir wheel, share it with me. How was that experience? I want to know all about it. Thank you for sharing this special moment with me on my first video channel. Say goodbye to Georgina. Goodbye. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.